first example, you said it was a factual one, so the referee doesn't really need to go and have a look at it. But when you hear the VAR describe the second incident in terms of it's hit the thigh, his arm's not outside of...
All right, welcome back, everyone. We're diving into some serious Premier League drama today. You know, that moment that had every Liverpool fan seeing red.
Yeah, the Trippier handball, right.
Exactly. The one against Newcastle, we're going to unpack it all. We've got articles, fan reactions, the whole 9 yards.
I mean, this incident, it's become a total lightning rod.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
This isn't just about one bad call, is it?
Not at all. It brings up this massive debate about refereeing, VAR, and the whole future of the Premier League.
Okay, so for those who maybe missed it, can you set the scene for us? Like, what actually went down?
Sure. So picture this. Late in the game, tension is high. Both teams desperately need a win. Liverpool's on the attack. A cross comes flying into the box, and there's Trippier, arm outstretched.
Whoa, hold on. Before we go any further, I think we need a quick refresher. For anyone who's not a die-hard fan, what's the deal with handballs in the box? Why is it such a huge deal?
Right. So in football, if a player deliberately uses their hand or arm to touch the ball inside the penalty area, it's a foul. And usually that means a penalty kick for the other team. Now, the rules about what counts as a deliberate handball, those are pretty complex. They look at the player's arm position, their movement, all sorts of things. But in this case, Trippier's arm was way out, definitely made contact with the ball, and that's why everyone went nuts.
Gotcha. So the stakes are high. All right, so back to the play. Trippier's arm is out, ball comes in, contact. Then what?
Nothing. The ref just waves play on, no penalty. And when you watch the replays, you can absolutely see why Liverpool fans felt robbed. Trippier's arm, I mean, it's not even close. It in a totally unnatural position. It clearly changes the play.
Yeah, the articles we've got are just packed with furious fan reactions.
Oh, yeah. Some of them are priceless. You've got daylight robbery. You've got VAR as a joke. You name it. They're not holding back.
So, yeah, putting the emotion aside for a second, why is this single incident causing such a massive uproar? I mean, controversial calls happen in football. It's part of the game.
True, but this one, it really throws gasoline on the whole VAR debate. The Premier League brought in VAR, the video assistant referee, to try to get rid of these obvious mistakes. But then something like this happens, and it makes everyone wonder, is VAR actually working? Is the technology the problem, or is it human error? Or maybe VAR is just fundamentally flawed. It's a big question.
Yeah, it definitely raises some questions. So what are some of the ideas being tossed around to fix this? What are people actually suggesting?
Well, one thing that keeps coming up is transparency. Fans want to understand how these decisions are made. Some people think referees should actually explain their calls.
Really? Like right there on the pitch?
Yeah. Maybe through the stadium announcers or even in post-game interviews. It's like, let's pull back the curtain, let everyone in on the process. Another idea is an independent review panel. You know, have experts analyze controversial calls after the game. That way there's more accountability, maybe even changes to referee training or how VAR is used.
You know, I've even seen some wild suggestions like giving managers challenges.
Yeah.
Like in tennis or cricket. Can you imagine?
That would be something else. It would definitely make things more dramatic, add a whole new layer of strategy. But I can see some downsides too. Like, it would probably disrupt the flow of the game, and who knows, maybe it would just encourage even more arguing and time wasting.
True, it would be a total game changer. But that's what makes this whole conversation so interesting. It's not just about getting the calls right, it's about how we want the game to be played and watched.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. It's about the bigger picture.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's shift focus a bit. Liverpool still has a whole season ahead. How do they bounce back from something like this?
Well, it's about resilience. They have every right to feel cheated, but they can't let this one incident ruin their whole season. Their manager, Arne Slot, he needs to turn that frustration into fuel, you know, use it to motivate the team.
It's funny you say that because I remember a few years back, there was a really similar handball controversy in a Champions League match. And guess what? The team that got robbed, they ended up winning the entire tournament.
You see, that's the thing. Sometimes these controversies, they can actually light a fire under a team.
It's like an underdog story in the making.
Absolutely. Adversity, it can be an amazing motivator.
So we've covered a lot of ground here. We've looked at the incident, the fan reaction, the whole VAR debate, even some potential solutions. What's your biggest takeaway from all this?
You know, for me, this really shows how important the human element still is, even in a sport that's relying more and more on technology. We have VAR to help us get calls right, but it's still humans interpreting the information and humans make mistakes. Finding that balance between tech and human judgment, I think that's the real challenge.
Gotten this edit better myself. And now for all you listeners out there, here's something to think about. If you were in charge of the Premier League, what's the one thing you'd change to make sure these controversial calls are handled better? It's a tough one, but we'd love to hear your thoughts. See you next time for another deep dive.